Do you have a license for that dog, mate? Do you have a license? Oh, you have a license. But do you have a license for the license? Ah, you don't have a license for the... Ah, that's a problem, mate. Mate, that's a problem. You know, I find it absolutely hilarious that Britain is now deciding to ban the dog breed. The pit bull. Horrible dog. No, unironically, first of all, I don't like dogs that much. I'm a cat person. But secondly, I see people, especially left-leaning people, screaming in horror on Twitter. Like, they are desperate. It's like it's affecting them. Most of them, not even dog owners, they're affected because it affects their ideology. You see, many left-leaning people have moved away from the idea that you can be born gay, right? So what does that mean? It means that your genetics can affect certain traits and certain behaviors in your way of life, right? They don't believe that anymore. Now they believe that everything is because of society, right? So like society conditions, it puppeteers, it manipulates. In the real world, I believe that there is a mixture between nature and nurture. The genetics that you have when you're born, so like let's say if you're born without an arm, it's obviously going to influence the way society treats you. It's going to influence the way you view society. So I think it's a mixture, but left-leaning people don't believe that anymore. They believe that everything is nurture, 100%. And as such, you cannot say that a dog breed is more dangerous than another. And this is why they are freaking out on Twitter right now. I find it interesting, like you're telling me that if we have the same dog, like literally in behavior, right? Like hypothetically speaking, it's the exact same animal. And you put its consciousness in a chihuahua, and you put its consciousness in a pit bull. And you get to decide which one is going to attack you. How many people are going to select the pit bull? Because I think like most are going to select the chihuahua. I mean, if a chihuahua even wants to kill you, you know, it wants to go for your neck, he is one kick away from a world of pain. Like if a dog attacks you, you have the right to defend yourself, right? So like if it's a chihuahua, it's easy to protect yourself. If it's a pit bull, it can overpower an adult. Right, so in the UK, there has been a string of cases where the pit bull has even killed people, so they decided to ban it. I personally wouldn't, because even though I dislike the breed, I do believe in liberty and freedom, and I would just pass a legislation that if a pit bull kills someone, you go to prison forever. Life in prison, fuck that shit. You know, if you want a responsibility and you are on the belief that the dog is supposed to be just like any other breed, that it's a cute little muffin, adorable little hippo or whatever, right? The moment it has bit someone, it should be as if you bit the person yourself with intent. I don't care if it managed to run away. I don't care about any other circumstance. The only thing that I would maybe be willing to have like a little leeway is if it's self-defense, right? So like a person attacks you and your dog defends you. Or if a person gets into your house and the dog takes care of the intruder. Like in those situations, I am willing to understand. But in any other situation, definitely not. Okay, any civilized country should treat the owner of a vicious dog that bites an innocent person with the absolute full extent of the law. No mercy, throw the book at them. But people should be able to have dogs, right? So like if you're in my country, for instance, and you have a big breed of dogs, it's like a Dalmatian or a pit bull or something, you have to muzzle them by law. Again, the law doesn't give a shit. And if you didn't muzzle them and they bite someone, full extent of the law, like there is absolutely no mercy. Sweep the leg. I don't care. You know, you made the choice. You decided. Like you knew that there was a danger, but you decided to assume it anyway. Well, the danger has happened. Now it's time for punishment. Because the victims of the family that have been bitten are not going to see the dog like an adorable hippo. They're not going to understand what you were thinking. They don't give a fuck. Okay, they have a mutilated son, they have a mutilated daughter. I've been into the hospital, I have seen dog attacks, they're horrible. Especially by the big breeds. Dalmatians especially, they can also be problematic. Was to be a thing after the 101 Dalmatians were released. Many people who went and saw that wanted the Dalmatian themselves. Unfortunately, the Dalmatian is a very active breed, very large breed. It requires a lot of territory in order to be happy. So if you keep it in a little house, they get really angry really fast, as many people found out. The thing with the dog, right? Like, it's an RNG, I would say, especially with pit bulls. Like, some pit bulls, I agree, like, they're really nice and they're lovable hippos or whatever, but some other pit bulls, they just go crazy, sometimes for no reason whatsoever. There was this person at a hospital lost 3 fingers because his family pit bull decided to attack him. And he said that never hurted the dog, never did anything bad to the dog. The guy was genuinely a dog lover, but like one day he came home, maybe like it was a different car or something, I don't know, the dog snapped. I mean, you know, it's your responsibility when you take a dog, you know, if you want to play the RNG, that's fine. But again, if you play the RNG with a Chihuahua, then even if you lose the RNG and the Chihuahua is aggressive, what is it going to do to you, right? Not much. But if you play the RNG with a pit bull, well, suffer the consequences. What do you want me to say? It's just like, I don't want to suffer them on your behalf. Like, if it's your choice to buy that breed, make sure that it's away from me. If it bites me, I want you to go to prison. Unironically, like, especially, but my favorite part is when you find a dog lover and they will say something like, well, yeah, but you must have done something to the dog. And I'm like, yeah, because that's what I do every fucking morning. I wake up and it's like, today I'm going to fuck with the pit bull. Why? Because I just feel so. You know, I'm walking down the street, I see the pit bull and I go, bah! You know, like, that's just normal human behavior, right? Like, that's how people behave on the street. You're right, you caught me. I just wanted to mess with the dog for no reason whatsoever. But anyway, right, so, apparently, not just VTubers are affected by this, but like a friend of Jordan Peterson, people are getting unironically banned from social media over this shit. Like, as you can see here, Kirsche, the VTuber, Ayo, you got a license for that attack dog. In all seriousness, I dislike Pitbull as a breed, and do believe they are inherently dangerous as they breed that way. However, I don't like the government stepping in and banning a breed of dog. Seems odd and a slippery slopey. Again, like, leftists just dislike. They hate the concept that you can believe that the breed, the genetics, can cause a dog to be dangerous. I am willing to bet they don't even know how a pit bull is made. Like, the breeders of pit bull, they have bred the dog with muscular breeds in order to make it look the way it looks now. Like, it's done by design. We humans have engineered the dog to look like this, right? Like, dogs used to look like wolves, not like pit bulls. So it is done on purpose. And yes, like, if you have a muscular breed of dog that can overpower an adult, is more dangerous than a Chihuahua, like, or a Pekingese. Like, this is not even up for debate or up for discussion, okay? Like, no one is that mentally deficient to believe that this is not the case. So, Twitter bans, it's like, you may not promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people, right? People, not dogs, on the basis of racist ethnicity, blah, blah, blah. But again, like, it's people, right? Like, dogs aren't people, but like what Kirsche did, which is unforgivable, is that she challenged the ideology. And by the way, I can challenge the ideology quite easily as well. Like, there have been some scientists in Russia which wanted to see if you can tame foxes genetically, right? So, like, they took foxes from the wild and they separated them into 2 groups. Foxes that tolerated humans and foxes that didn't. So the foxes that tolerated humans were allowed to breed again, and then the next generation, they repeated this over and over and over until you have, like, the world's first domestic fox. And then they looked at it. It's like a fox that isn't aggressive towards humans. And when they did research, they noticed that because, like, they altered, like they genetically bred the fox, they realized that in some cases they have less adrenal secretions, like the level of hormones in the chemistry of the fox is different. So, like, yeah, technically you can. I mean, I don't even know why this is up for discussion. But again, like, leftists do not study genetics or anything like that. The Soviets did something similar, though. They believe that genetics are evil because we're Nazis. And they created Lysenkoism. Like, go look it up. They literally, like, flat out rejected the concept of evolution and genes. And they believe that if you put plants together, they will cooperate like good little socialists. And anyone that disagreed was either fired or gulagged. And they created a famine in the Soviet Union. But anyway, right, so many people got banned. Now what's interesting with Kirsche, and she's saying that she doesn't like the government stepping in and banning a breed of dog. In the UK, there's several breeds of dogs that are already banned, so the government has already stepped in, much to Kirsch's dismay. But how do you do the ban? That's the question. Apparently, like, the police can take a person's dog away. I don't think like that is okay. Again, they're already doing it, so with other breeds. But I do think that there's a very simple and humane way of doing it. Just ban the breeders, right? So, like, you go to the breeders that are breeding pit bulls. The government should pay for their dogs in order to, compensate the person for the loss of their business. And then force them to water down the pit bull breed, right? You put mutts in it, or you put something else that makes them back into the dogs that are on the street, right? So, like, you put a flat out ban on breeding, and if you do not allow people to breed pit bulls, and you don't allow people to import pit bulls in the country, over the course of time, you will not have pit bulls. And this way, it's completely humane. You don't put any dog to sleep. I don't see anyone being upset. Like, you don't take people's dogs away, right? So you're just going to have, like, a few more years, another generation or two of pit bulls that exists. And after that, you won't have them, because all the breeders will have to breed the pit bull with the mutt, or whatever, right? So you're going to just have, like, a lesser breed of pit bulls. I mean, hey, if it's not genetics and it's just social engineering, then, like, surely you're not upset if we do this, right? Like, if you're a left-leaning person and you think that, well, genetics have nothing to do with it, then surely just going to the breeder and saying, okay, well, change the genetical mix-up. It's not going to influence the dog whatsoever. You're not going to be upset. You're not losing anything, right? So let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.